Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia. Today I'm going to do the library tag. I was tagged just today to do this tag by Pat at Book Chat with Pat, and it's the perfect tag for me. It's also the perfect timing. I'll explain that in a second. And the tag was created by Joe and Mary of BookBuds, and that is a new channel to me. So I'm going to include both of their videos down below, and so you can check out these channels and I can check out BookBuds because that one's new to me. I want to see what it's all about. This is a tag all about your library habits, and it is divided. There's questions for people who regularly use the library and then questions for people who don't. So anybody could do this tag, and there's a set of questions just for you either way. Now, this tag is perfect for me for a couple of reasons. First of all, the most obvious reason, and the reason why Pat tagged me, is because I am a retired school librarian. I'm also a lifelong lover of public libraries, university libraries, school libraries, all kinds of libraries, special libraries, archives. I love them all. And so I like to talk about this topic. And it's also perfect for me because the timing, it's one of those great tags that's just chatty and you don't have to ponder over a bunch of book selections. And I was going to do an older tag because I have a whole pile of undone tags. But before I could visit the island of undone tags, this one popped along and I said, oh, this is great for today. Because I'm also really short on time. We are going out of town tomorrow for my daughter's college graduation. And I have a bunch of stuff. I got to pack. I got to run some errands. But I really wanted to do a video. So perfect timing, perfect topic, perfect everything. The only thing that's not perfect is my face because I'm having some kind of allergy attack today and my eyes were just not having it with the eye makeup. So if I look kind of burned out, I'm really not. I feel great today, but my eyes do not. And I feel like I tried to put some makeup on and I felt like I was putting jalapeno fingers in there. So yeah, if you've ever made that terrible mistake of forgetting that you have been chopping peppers and then you touch your face. That's basically what my eyes feel like right now. Number one is, how often do you go to the library? I would say actually physically going there about once a week, sometimes more if things are coming in that I want to pick up, but I'm on their website a lot more. I'm always requesting things or looking things up or checking my holds, or so I'm probably on it, well, maybe not every day, but several times a week, but actually they're in person about once a week. Number two, do you belong to more than one library system? Right now, I'm only using the one system that I put in the thumbnail, Corpus Christi. There's several libraries, collected together. Technically, I guess I still belong to some other ones that I have lived near in the past. I don't know how long they stay active, but I'm not really using those. The one that I'm thinking about joining is the Houston Public Library because they allow residents of Texas outside of Houston city limits to join, and then you can use all of their online things and audiobooks and ebooks and databases and stuff like that. And even though I haven't really been reading in those formats, there are a couple things I'm interested in. And especially since lately, or just recently, when I talked about Lincoln and the Bardo, so many people told me that I really need to experience the audiobook along with the print book. So I'm thinking I'll join Houston Public Library to access that if my library doesn't have it. I'll check it out. But anyway, I was thinking about joining that one. But on a day-to-day basis, I just use my own city library. But if you play the field, tell me down below, because I find that kind of fascinating, like people who live in an intersection where they can access multiple ones easily. I'm all about that. Number three, what percent of your books come from the library? I wasn't quite sure. I thought, well, I don't know, is it like half or maybe less? Or so I did a little quick analysis and I counted how many books I have read so far this year. I looked in my journal and which ones were library books, and it came out to 40%. So that is my answer. 40% of my books come from the library. It fluctuates. I mean, some months it's more than others, but that's about where I fall right now. I feel like this is a reading challenge that I'm not going to do, but if I had to spend like a month or a year or whatever only using library books, I think I could still be happy and have plenty of things to read. It would just be, uh, I'd have to disband a lot of reading projects and things if I could not get certain specific books. I really do check everything to see if the library has it that I'm planning to read in a month for different events and challenges and things like that. There are certain books that I just want to own, like I already have it, or I want to own it for some particular reason because of the author or the series or just something about it that I want to have my own copy. And then other books, I really, really strongly want to read them, and the library doesn't have them and is unlikely to acquire them for some reason. Other times I'm requesting that the library acquire it, and sometimes they approve it, but then I have to be willing to wait because it might be several months because it has to go into their buying cycle. I suggested that they purchase Thunderclap, the nonfiction book by Laura Cumming, and what else did I ask them to get? I asked them to get, there was one that they turned down. They approved Thunderclap. They turned down The Stranding by Kate Sawyer. It said that they couldn't, it wasn't available through their vendor. Well, I can't remember what the third one was, but I guess it'll be a nice surprise when it shows up. But anyway, I have a few more in mind that I might throw out there to see if they'll get those as well. Okay, number 4. Do you listen to audiobooks or get ebooks from the library, or are you hooked on Audible or Amazon or something else? Well, I'm actually just primarily a print reader, so I don't really use any of those things. But as I said before, I do plan to dabble a little bit in that area soon. And I would start with the library and see, since I don't even know how much of that format I'm interested in using or how well it'll work for me, I'd like to start with library holdings and before I would go into some sort of a paid service. So yeah, I would use the library. Haven't really been, but that's where I'd start. Number 5. Did you go to Storytime at the library as a kid? I was at the library all the time as a kid because that's my library habit came from my mom, and she would take us. I don't remember them doing Storytime for little kids when I was that young. I just remember going, and we would split up. Like my mom's rule was, whatever you get, you have to be able to hold it yourself. So she's like, she had a bag, and she'd say, I got my bag and you got to hold your books, and you can get whatever you want, but you got to be able to hold them. So, and this was the 70s, so she didn't go around with me and guide my choices. We just split up and got back together at the end at the checkout. So I would go through and do my thing, and she went wherever she went and did her thing, and my brother, maybe she had him in a stroller or whatever. So we just split up, and then I'd use the school library as well. But I don't really remember that. And now as an adult, I of course was the Storytime lady at my school for the years of my career, and I used to take my daughter, and my husband did as well, to the little kid story times at our public library, and they used to have it at Barnes and Noble where we lived too. So we actually would take her around to 2 or 3 different ones in a week when she was like a toddler and a preschooler, and she thought that was fun. So yeah, but for myself as a little kid, not so much. Number 6, have you ever borrowed a movie or a video game from your library? I used to borrow movies, first VHS and then DVDs for years. We'd borrow different things and watch them, and we'd kind of lament the poor condition. Because I don't know. I've had DVDs that I had for years and years and years that I owned that never got scratched up and skipped, but the library ones were always a mess. You'd get halfway through the movie and they get stuck. So we used to do that, and that was right before this is a history of DVDs and VHS. So we would rent those, and then we got to the point where instead we would get remember when Netflix would send the DVDs in the mail? So that was our first Netflix subscription. And then we kind of quit doing the library because the Netflix ones were in better shape. But yeah, I used to do that a lot, especially when my daughter was really young, and again with like just renting all of those little kid movies that toddlers get fixated on and want to hear watch over and over and over and over. There was this one, oh my gosh, there was this one called Baby Songs. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip of this song. It we still have this song in our head. Like every now and then we go, well, like we have some piece of junk, we'll be like, what do you do with an old remote? Stuff it in the closet. I'm gonna see if Stuff It in the Closet's on YouTube. But yeah, we used to watch some of those over and over and over and over and over and over. Okay, moving on. Number 7, have you ever gotten fined for returning books late? And if so, how do you feel about that? Yes, that used to happen to me. When I lived in Plano, which is up near Dallas, I was in that system for a long time. That's where I was working as well. And they eventually did away with their fine system, and then they just turned into like a freeze system. Like if you had an overdue, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't use the computer. You couldn't check out. Before that, they did have a fine, and especially those dang videos. That was like $1 a day, and the books were cheaper, but they would keep letting you use the system until you hit the $5 due mark, and then you had to pay up. So that's what I would do. Like a couple times a year, I'd pay my $5, and I figured, well, first of all, it's my fault because I can plainly see they didn't trick me. I can see what the due dates are. And secondly, if I'm going to pay an annoying fine, I'd rather pay it to the library because maybe it helps them buy a book. So I wasn't too upset about it. I haven't had to pay any fines here. I don't know if they fine or freeze you or what, but I found out that there was a kind of a wiggle room on the overdues. So I've been playing that system, and I haven't gotten fined yet. Number 8, do you attend special events, groups, or book sales at the library? Yes, I do. I participate in their banned book club. They started another book club that looked kind of interesting, but the time of the day was in the morning, and I was like, I'm not a morning person. But the banned book club meets once a month in the afternoon, so that one works really well for me. That's fun. And sometimes they have a special event, like once a year during banned book week, they have a tea. And they do have other events all the time. They have lots of programs. A lot of them are family oriented, so they're not really for me, but they're very active. They have a lot of things, and they do have pretty frequent book sales. They have sort of this rolling book sale that happens every 2 or 3 months that is hosted by a group. It's like the University Women or something like that, but it benefits the library. It's not a Friends of the Public Library sale. It's a different group, but it benefits the library and this scholarship fund. So, and they have a room that they keep all the time, but then they open it up and run the sale a few times a year. So I always pass through that and usually find a couple things. Number 9, have you ever given or taken a book from a little free library, a book box, or a book swap? Yes, I do like little free libraries. We don't have a ton of them around here. There was one that was at a really a good spot for me that was in front of this restaurant and kind of like in a shopping center, but they changed that one into a hygiene box, like a period products box. And I thought, well, that's also, a useful cause. And then there's another one that I've gone to and donated at, but it's not very waterproof. And I went there once right after it rained and everything was soggy. So now I don't want to put things in there again because they might get ruined before somebody gets a chance to see them. So I need to hunt down and see if there's any other ones in town kind of on my route that I could stop at, because I haven't spotted any, but I'm sure there's got to be some more somewhere. I have a big bag of stuff I need to do something with, so if I could find another one, I would put some stuff in it. I don't think I've ever found anything I wanted to take from them. I think, which is kind of what Pat said too. I've put things in, but I don't think I've ever taken anything out. And I see other people visiting them and seeing all these incredible novels that just happen to be sitting in there, and I think, oh my gosh, but that hasn't happened to me. All right, number 10 is a bonus question. Does your librarian know you by name? Yeah, they kind of do because the several of the people who work at the local branch participate in that band book club, and then also another lady who is always there, and one of the librarians. I just go there so much, and I have so many holds that she sees me and she starts pulling the books out, and she's very friendly, and we chat and everything. But so yeah, kind of guilty as charged on that one. I don't think they wouldn't know me at the big main branch downtown, but at the local one, yeah, I think they're probably puzzling over the randomness of my request. That's it. The rest of the questions are for people who don't use the library. So those do not apply to me. This is the wrong piece of paper. I'm looking for the paper where I wrote down who I want to tag. Oh, wait, here I found it. All right, so I'm going to tag a few people that I don't think were tagged already. I think this is a new tag, so it hasn't gotten around. But here's a few people that I know that they talk about libraries, or I can't remember and I want to know if they visit the library. So we have Melinda at Web of Stories, Hannah of Hannah's Books, because I know she plays the field and belongs to multiple libraries, so she has talked about that before. Marilyn Maya Mendoza, and Kim at Middle of the Book March. You are tagged if you wish to. No pressure. But I thought it was a fun one. So the rest of you, let me know. You're tagged if you want. If you have a channel and you want to do this, feel free. I hope that you will. And otherwise, if you don't have a channel and you want to answer any of these questions in the comments below, I would love to hear from you. And this week coming up, I will not have a video on Friday because we will be at the graduation, but I think I'll do a weekly wrap up, like a Saturday or Sunday reads instead. So something will come out, not on Friday, but some kind of weekly thing later on. So have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.